Everton Football Club are in huge trouble. After just being knocked out of the EFL Cup against Southampton, a team that have just been promoted to the Premier League and are expected to be in the relegation battle with Everton all season, it's really not painting a pretty picture. Not just that, they've had their worst Premier League start to a season in 66 years. They've lost all 4 games, sit at rock bottom of the table. They've conceded 13 goals and have even thrown away 2-0 leads against Bournemouth and Aston Villa. With Sean Dyche as their manager, who has built his career on having a stable defensive line, you would expect a 2-0 lead to be kept at Everton. And the fact that they've managed to throw that away twice within 2 Premier League fixtures says to me that the confidence in the squad, not only the confidence, the ability in the squad must be at an all-time low. But a position towards the bottom end of the Premier League table isn't anything new for Everton fans at this point. In the 21-22 season, they finished 16th, just 4 points above relegation. In the 22-23 season, they finished 17th, just 2 points above relegation. Last season, they finished 15th, 14 points above relegation. It was a pretty poor season. All the teams that came up went down. But if you took away the points deduction, Everton actually had a decent season last year. But these still culminate to give them their worst consistent finishes in the Premier League since the turn of the century. So since the year 2000, this has been the worst time for Everton as a Premier League football club. How much longer will they be a Premier League football club? Let me know in the comments if you think they will actually get relegated this season. I'm intrigued to see what general football fans and Everton fans think about this. Also, please do remember to like and subscribe. But what is going wrong at Everton? A club that have won the top division of English football 9 times. They've won 5 FA Cups and even an European trophy in the past. But things have really changed. Their last top 6 finish was in the 13-14 season. The last major trophy was the 1995 FA Cup. We're coming up on 2 decades since Everton have won a trophy. Still more recently than Spurs, but we won't comment on that. Their last cup final even was in 2009, which they of course lost. They did earn a spot in the 17-18 Europa League, but were knocked out at the group stage. Maybe that was a turning moment for Everton. If they'd have gone through, got to the final, even won that trophy and brought in a bit more revenue, could they have stayed in those positions in the Premier League? It is highly likely. But with the size and history of the club, fans expect more. The glory days seem to be long gone. When will they return? It's very hard to say. Everton's squad is not up to par, and it hasn't been for a little while now. At this moment in time, they have the 5th lowest squad value out of any Premier League team. And one thing that points to why this has become the case is, over the course of the last 5 years combined, all the transfer windows, Everton are the only Premier League team that has actually made a profit. So if I'm an Everton fan and I'm looking at what's going on the pitch, what's going on around the fan base, and I'm thinking, this squad might actually end up getting us relegated, or if not relegated, certainly in a relegation battle. Why are we consistently making money and not reinvesting in the squad? There's a reliance on a fair few aging players and has been for a little while. Seamus Coleman has still been getting minutes over the last couple of years. He's never consistently fit, and I know he's been the club captain for periods, but he should have been offloaded a long time ago. Ashley Young played over 2,000 minutes for Everton last season. He's 39 years old. Do you know how crazy that is? To have a 39-year-old as a key component of your squad, for a squad that needs extra energy to be fighting off a relegation battle, makes no sense for me. You've got Idrissa Gueye, who's nearly 35 years old. He's played every single minute for Everton this season. And to me, having those different key components of the team that are just getting older and older without reinvesting in new, fresh, young players points to a club in trouble. Not only that, they've had a massive reliance on a most definitely faltering Calvert-Lewin for a long time. Way too long at this point. At one point, Calvert-Lewin was one of the most exciting strikers in the Premier League. I'll admit it. I saw a couple good seasons. Him getting in the England squad. There was rumours of him going to Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, etc. A proper number 9. Tall, strong, relatively quick and has a decent finish on him. That's what I thought anyway. Last season, he got 7 goals and 2 assists in 32 appearances. In the 22-23 season, he got 2 goals and 1 assist in 17 appearances. And then in the 21-22 season, he got 5 goals and 2 assists in 17 appearances. Does that scream a number 9 that is going to save you from relegation? Because to me, it really doesn't. And I understand you can look back at when he was actually doing well and you can blame the injury issues all you want, but even those injury issues and his lack of availability for the squad and the fact he's constantly recovering, just needs a few more games before he hits form again, proves to me that he should not be the man that is leading the line for Everton after 3 poor seasons in a row. The last time Dominic Calvert-Lewin had over 10 goal involvements was in the 20/21 season, where he got 16 goals and 1 assist. That is very, very good, but that feels like it was a long time ago now. Everton fans, actually, let me know, what do you think of Calvert-Lewin? Is it time to move on? Is it time to get a new striker? I'm genuinely intrigued because I do hear a lot about these injuries, etc., but for me, that is no longer an excuse. There should have been someone else that has come in and done well for Everton and taken that role off him. And in fact, we'll move on to transfers because they have tried to sign other players. Last season, after their lowest league finish in 20 years, their most expensive signing was striker Beto for £25 million. He's went on to play 951 minutes for Everton last season and scored 3 goals. Certainly not the impact that you would have wanted. And admittedly, there's a lot of hate for Ellis Sims throughout the Championship fan bases, but they sold Ellis Sims for Coventry at the same time for £7 million, and he went on to score 13 goals and got an assist in the Championship last season. So is that really a trade-off that you want to make? He's 3 years younger than Beto. Just the transfer strategy last season, having just had your worst Premier League finish in 20 years, just absolutely baffles me. And then we look at the 22-23 season. Everton sold Richarlison and Anthony Gordon for a combined total of just over £100 million. A hell of a lot of money. Money that should have been reinvested smartly into the squad to ensure that relegation battles didn't become a regular occurrence. They bought Dwight McNeil from Burnley, who admittedly is a decent Premier League player. I don't dislike him. I think he's done okay for Everton, but he's nowhere near the quality level of Anthony Gordon. And then they also brought in Mopai for £12 million to kind of replace Richarlison, another Premier League shithouse in Mopai, who I do actually quite like as a entertainment figure, but not particularly as a footballer. He played 27 times for Everton in the next season and scored once. So their track record in terms of attacking players is really poor. In the 22-23 transfer window, they also brought in Amadou Onana, who, to be fair, has now been sold to Aston Villa for £60 million because he was a fantastic footballer. But again, he's not been at the club for that long. As soon as they sign someone good who actually adds a next level of quality to the squad week in, week out, he just ends up leaving. He ends up being sold and that money isn't reinvested. And that's a pattern that's reoccurring at Everton. But why is this the case? It's because of the new stadium and all the debts that have been accrued around that build. Right now, Everton are in over £1 billion in debt. And that's not the end of it. They're expected to accrue at least another £200 million in debt before the end of the stadium build, before a player has even played there. Admittedly, it will push the club forward, bring in a lot of revenue for many years to come, and will make the club a more positive prospect for anyone looking to invest or purchase the club. But if, let's say, they do end up getting relegated this season, will it have been worth it? We've seen this before with clubs spending over their means where they get relegated to the Championship and think that they'll bounce straight back up, and that is not always the case. Look at Leeds United, my club. We spent a bunch on transfers, went down, and it took us decades to make it back to the Premier League. And even now we're stuck back in the Championship. And where a club of a similar size to Everton. So, sorry, Everton fans. I feel like I could get a lot of slander to that. But we're a club at the minute with a similar size stadium, a massive fan base across the world, esteemed in history, having won titles and cups and done well in European trophies throughout the years. And if you get relegated, there's no guarantee that you bounce straight back up. With a massive wage bill, with Sean Dyche as a manager, I'm not sure that he bounces straight up from the Championship. But for me, this stadium should have been built in a much safer way, in a much better light. And it's led to potential investors coming in and backing out, potential new owners coming in and backing out. And it's just painting a picture of a club that if they do go down, will end up in a real sticky situation. I'm really intrigued to know, Everton fans, please do let me know what you think about the club, about the owners, and if you think you might end up getting relegated this season, because with the squad and the start that you've had, the confidence will be incredibly low, and it really wouldn't surprise me if we see Everton battling it out till the end of the season. I don't actually personally think that they will end up being relegated, and that is purely because Southampton and Leicester over the course of a Premier League season will definitely be worse than Everton, but it's that last relegation spot. That one, I think Ipswich are probably better. Who else is going to be there? Brentford, I thought at the start of the season would be around there, but they've had a good start to the season. Notts Forest, I think that they're better than Everton. I think that the squad is, the manager is. I really don't know. And will questions start to be asked of Sean Dyche soon? 5 losses on the trot, bottom of the table, knocked out of the cup already. Everton fans are a fickle bunch sometimes, and I think they'll be expecting a lot more from their team. And sometimes it's a bit of a problem. Having such a big club with such a great history means that the expectations are up here. But when there's this level of investment into a new stadium and you can't sign players and you're having to make profits and the squad's getting worse, it's going to lead to a real toxic atmosphere. I reckon a couple more losses, Sean Dyche's head will be called for, and then who can you really get as a saviour? Maybe we could see Big Sam Allardyce come in and save Everton from Premier League relegation. A man that, you know, he's got a history of doing it, but it would be quite funny to go from Sean Dyche to Sam Allardyce. Anyway, everyone, let me know what you think of Everton and the current situation there, and if you think they'll go down in the comment section. Please do remember to like and subscribe. As I say, there'll be a lot more football content throughout this season, not just for the Premier League, but also for the Championship, for the Champions League, and whatever else is going on in the footballing world. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.